All right, well, I think we're going to jump in. Feel free to continue introducing yourself in the chat if you are still working on an introduction. And greetings from MAET, the MAET Overseas Program, which happens in Galway, Ireland. We have a quick overview of our agenda for tonight. We know that you all are busy and have all sorts of things that you have to attend to, so we want to be conscientious of that. But we also want to answer as many questions as we can for you tonight. So we're going to start with some introductions, move into a program overview. We will talk about program costs. We will give you an overview of a day in the life of an MAET overseas student, and then we'll have a chance to answer some of your questions. So thank you so much for being here. We really love getting the chance to get to know potential students and also to talk about this program. So we're just really excited to be here. And thank you for all of the introductions that are coming in the chat. We are taking a look at those too. So quickly, we want to talk about us. We are Team MAET. We are the Master of Arts in Educational Technology program at Michigan State University. Just in case you aren't aware, we also offer this program as a fully online format. And then we also have a hybrid program, which takes place in East Lansing on the campus of Michigan State in the summer. And then we also offer 3 graduate certificates. So just in case you are interested in other offerings or potential pathways with MAET. But first, we'll start with some introductions. My name is Liz. I am the director of the MAET program. I am also one of our instructors, and I am super excited to be here with you tonight. I happen to be one of the instructors who usually teaches overseas as well. So I'm involved in the coordination of things, and I'm also going to be involved in the curriculum and the teaching side of things. So welcome.
Hi, I'm Candace Robertson. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Experience and Outreach for the MAET program, and you would be interacting with me maybe in your courses, but also primarily as your advisor in the program. So I would be working with you to support your progress and your success. And I see we have people joining from all sorts of time zones on different days, and that is especially exciting to us. So welcome.
All right, so we always want to start by highlighting really what brings us to this work, which is our students and the incredible work that they do, their professional contexts, and just their perspectives, because we really feel, although of course we're happy to talk to you about this, it's much more powerful coming from a student or a former student. So we're going to share a video that one of our students who recently graduated after completing the MAET Overseas program completed as part of a reflection on her MAET experience. So she gave us permission and is actually very excited that we're using this tonight. But it just gives you a little picture, a snapshot of who she is as a student and as a learner and what her experience was like in our program.
Hello, my name is Anne, and I'm an 8th grade language arts teacher at a school in Southwest Michigan. In addition to my work as a teacher, I'm also a member of some leadership teams at my school. This past year, I was even selected by the Michigan Reading Association as a 30 under 30 honoree. You might be thinking, wow, she sounds really busy. How does she have time to be an MAET student too? Honestly, it's a great question. Prior to joining the MAET program, I wasn't sure that I would be able to add grad school into the mix of my many commitments. After 6 years of teaching, I missed academic discourse and fellowship with other like-minded teachers. After the toughest year of my career, the Mindsets Overseas experience was the reset I needed to fall in love with learning again and realize the MAET program is where I belong. MAET pulled out and refined some of the best parts of my teaching self. My creativity, my desire to collaborate with others, and my willingness to critically reflect upon my practice. I now have more tools for engagement to use in the classroom and during tech professional developments I lead. MAET has supported my growth as an anti-racist educator in unanticipated ways that I am truly thankful for. Finally, it has strengthened my theoretical knowledge to help me make more informed decisions in the classroom and in leadership roles. I'd like to share some of what I believe to be true as an educator and leader. 1. This is really tough and often seemingly unappreciated work. 2, this is also really beautiful, rewarding, joyful work. And 3, this is work that requires a community full of passionate, curious, and open-minded people. It truly takes a village to create an educator. Thank you to the MAET program and my MAET colleagues for being a part of my village. You've changed me for the better in more ways than you'll ever know, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this community. Go Green!
All right, so we're so excited that Anne is happy to let us share that with you. And she just graduated this past summer. So we wanted to make sure that we addressed the questions that were submitted in advance, and also just make sure that we give you a really good sense of what this program is like. And one question that has been asked is what this experience is like for BIPOC students who are visiting Ireland with the program. And we want to emphasize safety is our number one priority for you while you are in this experience. But Ireland is actually ranked very well on a list of Humanities Global Peace Index. The experiences that our former students of color and BIPOC students have shared with us have been overwhelmingly positive, and overall has been a very positive student experience for our BIPOC students. However, we are very welcome to share with you to connect with you with our alumni so that they can talk to you about this, because we understand that it's much more powerful and important coming from a fellow student.
All right, this is Candace speaking, and I am going to head us into a program overview. So I'm going to post in the chat University of Galway's website. That is our hosting institution while we are in Galway. Galway is located on the west side of Ireland, and that's depicted in that first image of the map that you see of Ireland. And then in the center image, kind of zooms in on Galway itself. Location A on that map is Goldcrest Village, which I'll talk about in a moment. That's our student accommodations on the University of Galway's campus. Point B is where your classes are held at the University of Galway. And point C is the actual downtown city center area. That distance from A to C looks kind of large where it's zoomed in, but it is 2.6 kilometers or 1.6 miles. So it is quite easy to navigate to and from the city center, which you see pictured in that image on the far right. It is always vibrant and bustling. And then a closer look at what Galway looks like and what the university looks like. In that far left image is Goldcrest Village. This is our student accommodations that are provided through the University of Galway. It is a very modern apartment suite setup. So you would be living with other MAET learners, and it's a shared apartment. So you share a kitchen and a living room space, but then there are individual bedrooms with doors and locks for your safety and privacy. You have your own individual rooms and your own individual bathroom and shower, private, so that you are just using it yourself and have that to yourself. So that is kind of the setup of that. It was built very recently, so it is all very well kept and serviced by their housekeeping as well. So then the Alice Perry Engineering Building is where our classes are held. We have Liz and another instructor who come from the MAET program to provide your learning experience. And then the beautiful Corrib River runs from campus all the way downtown, so you can just follow the river right to the city center. And that takes you to that city life. And it's one beautiful little big street, big heart. And so you'll be able to participate and visit town as often as needed. And then in terms of participating in the program, I'm going to share another link in the chat. These are your participation options. If it's your first summer with MAET overseas, we recommend that you start in the Mindsets for Innovation strand. We also have the strategies for transformation strand. Those both run 4 weeks long, and you complete 9 credits or 3 courses in those 4 weeks. So it is a very accelerated learning experience. By the end of this summer, you would be pretty much 1/3 of your way toward your master's degree. So it is a way to complete a lot in a shorter, condensed time. We also have a 2-week option for students who that's a better fit for them. In that 2 weeks, you complete 1 course or 3 credits. We also have credit and non-credit options as a part of that. And then as a part of your full program overview of MAET, this summer, you would complete your graduate certificate in educational technology. You can earn graduate certificates on your way towards your master's degree as a master's degree student. So once you earn that graduate certificate this summer overseas, you would then complete your required courses online or overseas again. And then 30 credits total earns that master's degree for you. So let's take a quick peek at what that looks like in potential course plans. I'm linking the course information in the chat right now for you, so that you can get course titles and descriptions and all of the wonderful things that go into a course experience, but it helps to really paint a picture. So part of our very popular options, right? There's a lot of flexibility. Once you're admitted to the MAET program, you're able to participate in any of the modalities that we offer. So online, our overseas summer experience, our hybrid summer experience on campus as well. So one of the really popular pathways is for learners to earn, within that 30 credits, within those 10 courses, a graduate certificate in educational technology, a graduate certificate in online teaching and learning, and their MAET degree. So all of those can be earned in those 30 credits. So the plan on the left shows you what it would be like if you wanted to participate in one summer overseas and then complete the rest of your courses online. So you would start this summer, take courses online in the fall, online in the spring, and you would graduate summer 2025. If you wanted to do 2 summers overseas, that would look like starting this summer. You would take the fall semester off, take some courses online in spring, come back to Galway in summer 2025, and then complete your program in the fall. You can also apply and start the program in spring. So if you're interested in, starting this spring online, you can absolutely do that. And I would meet with you in an advising meeting, and we would look at what is the best plan of approach for you based on your personal and professional goals. In our courses, our learners explore learning theories and frameworks. They create powerful solutions to support teaching and learning in their professional contexts. They share with our innovative global network. And they get critical about educational systems and practices. We know that program cost is really important, and it's a huge factor in your decision for graduate learning, and we know that it's a large investment. So we're going to now provide complete cost information, which I've linked in the chat, and then I'm also going to send over some funding opportunities in a link as well. And these are all a part of the slideshow too, so that you can refer back to them later. So don't feel like if you miss it in there that you won't have access to it. You'll have access to it later as well. So when we think about overseas and what the summer overseas financial details are, for costs associated with the program, the tuition for 9 credits, this is looking at that 4-week strand, equals $7,803. Then we have an activity fee. The activity fee pays for an opening and closing reception, group dinner, a group excursion, classroom tech access. You receive a welcome bag with your learning materials and some handy traveling items once you arrive in Ireland, and t-shirt and things like that. So that $200 activity fee, and this is in USD, all comes directly back to your experience overseas. And then our housing is at cost of what University of Galway charges. That's $2,000 for the 4 weeks. And then University of Galway also offers an optional lunch meal plan. So Monday through Friday, you can purchase a lunch plan so that you have a warm, I would say hearty, and Liz can add to that, but a meal plan. So most of our students end up opting into that for convenience. And there's a cafeteria right across from where your class is. So including lunch, the total is for the summer, of course, not including your travel to and from Ireland or your daily living expenses, is $10,263. Without lunch, it's just a little over $10,000. What we do for domestic students who are eligible for financial aid is we go through and we package total costs of all of the experience. So we take these costs that are programmatic and you would be billed through MSU for, but then we take your travel as well. So we find estimates of flights and we find estimates of daily living costs, and we supply total costs to the financial aid office. And then the financial aid office uses that more detail-oriented assessment of cost to create your financial aid packages. So it would be out of a larger pot that they would be determining what aid you're eligible for. We received many questions, which we absolutely understand, around assistantship, fellowship, full funding availability for master's level students. That is where I have linked and shared that curated funding resources document. In the College of Education, there are no program-specific assistantship, fellowship, or full funding opportunities for master's level learners. However, across MSU, there are opportunities, and then there are a plethora of opportunities for scholarships and grants as well. What we do as a program, because we want to reduce any cost that we can and support you in that, is we serve as your recommenders and write letters of reference for you. We do this very often for our learners, and they've been able to obtain different scholarships and grants as well to supplement their funding. If you are applying for the MAET overseas cohort and starting this summer, the application due date is March 1st. I am going to copy and paste our application resources link for you so that you have it in that apply page on our website. You'll also find a checklist to help guide you through the process. And although the due date is March 1st, we always say apply early, be notified early, and plan early, especially when you're thinking about traveling to a different country for your studies. The sooner you know, the sooner that you can start planning your life, because it is a lot to be gone from your life for 4 weeks. And we want to support you in that, and we are here to support you in that. So applications are reviewed on a weekly and bi-weekly basis. So as soon as your materials are submitted and complete, you will be notified of your admission decision. So that could be as early as next week. You would be notified if you submitted it. So just know that, submit that early and you'll be notified early. And then I think something that I just like to share is I think people, right, a graduate learning experience can be stressful to think about applying for. And I think it's important that you just sit and write and submit your materials and try not to overthink that. And I know it can be kind of, nervous, like, or it can provide nervous feelings. And so I would just say, like, hi, I'm Candace and that's Liz, and we're on the other side of the system. And so we're here to support you. And so is the rest of our team. So if you have questions, you can always absolutely reach out, and we're here to help you with that. A question came in about what if only 2 letters of recommendation are submitted? So sometimes letters of recommendation are the biggest cause of delay in the application process, actually. So we recommend selecting really responsive references when you submit that in the application. What happens is they get an email and they can enter their reference for you right into a text box to simplify the process. You can add another reference to your application if needed eventually. And if you run into delays around this, Heather, our program coordinator, is always keeping an eye on applications and their status. So she will be in contact with you so that we can work toward a solution together. is the application fee waiver program specific? So as a participant in this session, you'll receive an application fee waiver that is intended only for the MAET application. And then another important part of the overseas experience is letting us know you're interested so that we can make sure that we're communicating with University of Galway. So this is even before you submit your application. If you submit your interest form, that will allow you to receive monthly email updates from us to help your planning and preparation for your overseas experience.
All right. So what is it like to be in MAET overseas? What does a day in the life look like? It's a question that we get often. It's just kind of, what can I expect? We can expect a lot of fun, a lot of good food, a lot of learning, and a lot of connecting with amazing educators from all over. So this is kind of what a typical day might look like. 8:30, we start class. There is a small, actually, there's a couple of different little cafe options on the walk between Goldcrest, which Candace described, where our students generally stay, and where we have classes in the engineering building. So a lot of students will grab something to eat, or maybe just a coffee or something on the way. And then we'll start class. Maybe at 10 a.m. we might have a reading discussion. We do try to get outside as much as possible. It's a beautiful country. They have a beautiful campus. It's very safe. The Corrib River flows right through campus, so it's just wonderful to have opportunities to get outside. Then around noon, we would have lunch. Again, there is a cafe across the street from our engineering building where we have class called Friars. They have delicious food. It is actually one of the big hits amongst our students. They rave about the meals, which are not only extremely generous portions for an affordable cost, but also just delicious and often very international. And there's many options too. So especially for folks who may have allergies or perhaps dietary restrictions, Ireland is phenomenal with the way that they are very clear about what allergens are contained in foods. They are also very, very flexible in terms of providing options for a variety of different types of diets. So you will be well fed. And then after meal, we would go back to class, maybe work on some collaborative work, maybe have more discussion, do some creative work. Around 4 or so, class would end. And then in the evening, there's a variety of different options. We might have some activities that are going on. Students sometimes kind of spontaneously find things to do. You form connections with your classmates, and you'll have so many different fun things to do in the city of Galway. This is just a quick glance at what the apartments in Goldcrest look like. They are, as Candace mentioned, they have been very recently built. It's very new, very stylish, and lots of storage space, very comfortable. The private bedroom, a shared living room and kitchen, and then a private bath. Then there are weekend adventures. So as part of your experience, we provide some weekend excursions for you. We have our student activities coordinator, Chris Sloan, who's also an instructor. He's phenomenal. He is just so good at capturing and connecting our students with the most fun and intriguing and cultural experiences that are to be had in Galway. So some of these might include trips to historical sites. It might include trips to beautiful natural sites in Ireland, kayaking, maybe some outdoor adventures, baking classes, art. Really, there's just so much culture and so many things to do in Galway that the Galway is really your oyster. So it's something that we're really excited to provide, and it's again something that really adds to your experience as you are learning. It is a very challenging but rewarding experience, and it's just so amazing to be able to do it in such a beautiful place with such friendly people.
All right, so we've been able to answer some of your questions throughout, but we wanted to make sure that we left space. If any other questions have come up, you can either use the Q&A or you can post in the chat and we can answer them. And as you're thinking and we're giving you wonderful wait time, I'm going to share in the comments just some reminders and helpful links. You can email us at any time at askmaet@msu.edu. You can schedule a pre-admissions advising meeting with me so that you can think about what this looks like for you in the MAET program, and then another link to our slides as well. But we'll go ahead now, and silence is beautiful when we're thinking. So we're going to give you some time to pose any more questions that you might have.
And I'd just like to add on to what Candace said about just kind of the nature of our program. And I know sometimes going to graduate school can be a big decision. It can be a little intimidating. So we are pretty active on social media, and we also have hashtag MAET that we use. So that can be a good way to just kind of see what kind of conversations are happening, see what kind of students and alumni we have, potentially ask them questions, see what kind of work they do. And that might just kind of help make it a little more real to you, just say like, hey, look, these are real educators out there, and they really had a good experience, and this is something that I can do too. And as Candace mentioned, we have Heather, our amazing program coordinator, who will always be there to answer your questions and provide support through the application process.
A question?
And yeah, a question. Oh. Great.
Yep.
Yes.
So a question came in. It's, can you speak to the technology part of the MAET program? What tech focus skills would this program offer that a more general MED or a master's in education program might not?
Sure. Do you want me to tackle that, Candace? Or
Go
do you
for
want
it. And I'll add to it if I.
Great. So what I would say is that the way that we approach technology in MAET, actually just explained this to someone recently, so it's perfect. I'm primed. Is technology in a very broad sense. So when we think about technology, a pencil is technology, a book is technology, the alphabet is technology. Technology is something that's always been used in some form in learning. So our process is to think about technology use in thoughtful and intentional and equitable ways. So sometimes technology might not be digital. Sometimes you might have a school or environment or a learning context where perhaps technology isn't available or reliable. Perhaps there isn't reliable broadband internet. So you need to have different options for that. So there are other options and alternatives that are available. And so what we like to encourage our learners to do is to just really think thoughtfully about that intersection of technology, pedagogy, and content, and then the context that frames it all, and really think thoughtfully. So I will say that we are not the kind of program that says, all right, we are going to show you some tutorials on how to use this particular software. That's really not how we approach it. We really think about what place technology has in education and in learning. Candace, anything to add?
I would just build on what you're saying through, like, yes, you are going to learn about the tools and the platforms and all of those things. But because we are driven by educational psychology, and we are all educational technologists ourselves, which would be different from a master's in education program, we are going to be thinking with these critical lenses and these creative technology lenses in what we do as a part of the learning process. So you are seamlessly going to have experiences with analog and digital technologies to expand your practice.
And those are, and sorry, I was going to add, thank you. Sorry, Candace and I like to tag
We also
team.
love talking about this, so you asked a great.
We love talking about this. We'll keep going on forever. But yes, I was just going to add that that yes, in addition to that, it's informed by learning theory and by just all sorts of different pieces of, for example, design thinking, other ways and lenses to think about technology. So hopefully between the two of us, we've helped answer that. But I would also absolutely encourage you to look at some of the work that our students have done, because I think that will show you the types of technologies that they have used if you're interested in just kind of seeing like, okay, well, what's out there? What's possible? Because that's a great question.
Another question, is it possible to finish by summer of 2025 if you do the 2-year overseas program? I noticed that instead of taking classes in the fall after, it goes to the next year. So that would be if you did 2 summers. Yes, there are ways. And so in your advising meeting, we would talk about when you start so that you can finish by summer 2025 as well, and kind of your course sequence and courses that you're taking. Another question is, how many students generally participate in this program? We've had a range. That's what I would say. We've had a range. Our program was as large as we were taking, nearly, over 30 students overseas to Galway with us pre-COVID-19. Now we're at the state that we're in with COVID-19. We are rebuilding the program. So we had 2 years off due to international travel restrictions. And because safety is our number one priority, we felt it was really important to wait until things were a little bit easier to navigate and safer to navigate. So we've had, in our last 2 cohorts, around 15 students. So it is very intimate experience where you will get one to a really highly supportive learning environment. That being said, I think it's also important to mention, since we've also talked about applying to graduate learning, there is no cap on number of students. We go off of those requirements. There is not a limited number of spots available. So don't think about that as a part like, oh my gosh, it's an intimate cohort of learners. That doesn't mean anything in terms of like our ability to scale up, because we've been able to do that in the past. That's just kind of what we're gauging things will look like this summer. But that is not a competitive application process in terms of like, there's only 15 spots that you're trying to fill. There is space beyond that.
Absolutely. These are great questions, by the way. So thank you all so much for being here and taking the time to be with us today, but also for the excellent questions. And if you're like me, sometimes you don't think of the question right now, you might think of it later. So we do have our Ask MAET email address, which is continuously monitored. So if you think of questions later that you'd like to ask, please reach out. You can also schedule a meeting with Candace to talk about possible program pathways and timelines and what might work for you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Where you're from in the world, we just are excited to connect with you, and now we're connected. So like Liz said, please reach out, and thanks for staying a little late with us. And we'll stay here for a few more minutes if anyone has questions, but we hope you either have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day, and we look forward to connecting more with you.